Okay, this is my process for making 3D models in a nutshell. I delete the default cube. I go to Add, Mesh, Icosphere, and I have an icosphere. I go to the Sculpting tab. Then I go to Dynamic Topology and I click the little checkbox here. And I press OK. And I click on DIN Topo, Dynamic Topology. And I set it to constant detail. And I set the resolution either to 1 or 2, depending on how much detail I need. But I usually start with 1, and you can change it to 2 if you don't have enough detail. So I press 1, and that's done. So now I have my icosphere. I can press F once and drag to change the brush size. I can press Shift F once and drag to change how intense the brush is. So a value of 1 will make a lot of changes, while a value of 0.1 will make very little changes. So I'm going to put it on 1. And then here I just have draw. I just start dragging and pushing on my little icosphere. I click the mouse and release to start creating a shape from the icosphere. Holy shit. That almost looks like a bowl. Okay. I also sometimes use S, which is smooth, with a low strength. And then you can like smooth stuff out. Maybe even lower. There we go. Sometimes you might need to make your mesh symmetrical because dynamic topology doesn't do symmetry very well. So you can click on dynamic topology and say symmetrize. It says which direction here. And if you click on that, it's going to equalize my model on both sides. Okay, when you're done sculpting your model, you go to the UV editing tab. You press A. Press A, and you press U, and then you just say Smart UV Project, and you go all the way up in the angle limit to 89, which is the maximum, and you press OK. And the reason why I pick 89 is because it's going to make the most flat surfaces and connect the triangles in the UV map. When the UV map is made, I go back into Layout, and I have to add a material. So here we have context material. I have my object selected. I say new, and that's done. Now I go back to texture paint, and now I have my pink bullhead or whatever it is. And in texture paint, you have the draw tab here. It says the active tool on workspace settings. It will say draw. And it says no textures, you click the little plus and say base color. So that's going to be the base color for the material that I gave to the bullhead. And then you can set how large the texture has to be. For low poly stuff, I pick either 128 or 256. So 128 by 128, and I say OK. And now we have this. What you can do on the left in the UV tab, if you want to, is click on the little picture here, browse image to be linked. You can click on the base color, and it's going to show what you're painting as you're painting it. Sometimes you can draw on this right here, or you can draw on the model. I like to paint on the model, but sometimes it's useful to be able to paint on the texture directly itself. And now you, for example, I'm going to pick a color here, like some brown, shitty brown, and I'm going to use the fill tool in the UV view and just click on it. Oh, whoop, that's fucking white. Okay, hang on. Pick brown, and then click to fill in the UV view. Okay. I clicked a few times because the strength is only 0.5. Okay, so I click my brush again, and now we can start brushing. I have no fucking idea what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna pick a random color. And you can press F again once to change the brush size, Shift F to change how strong the brush is, so This is a light brush, only makes a few changes, and then a strong brush immediately applies the color as it is. And one thing I like to do while painting is to use black as a way to shade certain areas. So if I go over and pick black here in a color picker, I pick a very low strength, like 0.1-ish or something, and then you just start painting very lightly, and it adds a little bit of black. Then I change the brush size, add a little bit more of black, change some more, add some more black, and this way you can kind of shade certain areas. Or like with the cactus, this is how I did the grooves in the cactus, like the vertical lines. With the banana, this is how I did the banana spots. So that this part can be useful. I mean, it's painting really. When you're done, Blender should save everything. If you close the file, it's gonna ask me to save the image, stuff like that. But the image is saved into the Blender file. And that is pretty much it.